Joining us now to discuss this is Hannah Scherlacher from Campus Reform. Hannah, welcome back to the show. First, I want to ask you, were you surprised that the Arizona governor vetoed this bill after approving it last year?
I was very surprised. This governor, he actually said that the First Amendment is a founding bedrock principle of our nation. And this bill had overwhelmingly bipartisan support from both Republicans and Democrats. So this was completely unprecedented that he vetoed this bill. And it's also absolutely insane, especially coming from an elected official. He, of all people, should know the value of our First Amendment rights. And clearly we've been seeing time and time again that the classroom is a place where constitutional rights don't apply. So yeah, I was very surprised coming from this governor in particular.
Well, Hannah, why the change? He is a conservative Republican. Why did he change on this?
His explanation for it was that students are incapable and they need capable adults guiding their speech. This is absolutely crazy. College students are adults. They can get married, they can drink alcohol, they can serve in our military, but somehow they're incapable of upholding their First Amendment rights. I mean, where is this coming from? This governor, he poured $3.5 billion into Arizona's public education system, and he campaigned on the promise of educational excellence. So nobody's really sure where exactly this is coming from, completely unprecedented. And not to mention, Arizona State University has one of the top journalism programs in the entire nation. So it's very surprising coming from this state, coming from this governor, especially with overwhelming bipartisan support. But it's something we are seeing over and over again on campuses is censorship. And vetoing this bill is censorship in its purest form.
And I know that you are in touch with the students. You've got the pulse. How are they reacting to this?
Oh, they are outraged. You know, I have the privilege of working with my campus correspondents who are brave enough to actually report what's going on their campuses, and they receive a lot of negative backlash. But I commend them because they understand and they value the fact that sunshine is the best disinfectant, and transparency is so crucial in higher education. You know, free press is a hallmark of American higher education, and they're willing to take the backlash because they understand the importance of free press in higher education. And, you know, Campus Reform and our correspondents have been receiving a lot of negative backlash this past week for reporting on inflammatory remarks made by the professor. And the blame is being shifted on journalists, especially student journalists, rather than the professors.
Well, we know that conservative thought is actually often suppressed on college campuses, especially. How are liberal students responding to this?
You know, liberal students, I would say they are actually, since this veto was actually disagreed upon bipartisan, I think they're outraged as well because they also want their voice heard. There were many liberals who were for this bill. So this is just outrageous, you know, and it's something we see time and time again at Leadership Institute's Campus Reform. Liberal students were actually at the forefront of the same type of issue. So at Mizzou University, we saw a professor call for the muscle to remove a student journalist who was recording in a no-speech zone. And at Paradise Valley Community College in this governor's home state, a student was actually suspended from handing out constitutions because she didn't request permission to express herself 48 hours in advance. So what we're seeing is a high increase of speech codes and safe spaces on college campuses, and this is aimed specifically toward conservative students, but if you set the precedent there, it also affects liberal students. So I would say they're outraged as well, but this is just an indication of a bigger problem.
Well, I know there was a Democrat, Representative Ken Clark actually said, I don't believe you can fully teach students who are trying to learn how to be responsible journalists unless you respect the First Amendment. What do you think about that statement?
No, I think that's agreed upon by both Republicans and Democrats. And again, this is just why the vetoing of this bill is so outrageous. You know, Kimberly Yee, the Republican senator who sponsored this bill, she completely agrees with that. She stands behind that position, as well as many students. Any respected journalist understands the importance of this.
There's a lot of fake news out there, a lot of journalists professionally who are putting incorrect information out. And so should journalists just have free range?
You know, that's a good question, and that's the debate that has been happening in regards to this bill. But, you know, student journalists, this is the time where they can explore and engage in debate and dialogue. This is the purpose of college campuses. Sometimes that means uncomfortable ideas. Sometimes that means irrational ideas. But this governor needs to understand, and all professors need to understand, that good journalism is uncomfortable, and sometimes it does get into dicey territory. This is why our First Amendment is so important. America is unique in the way that we can get ideas out there, even if they are outrageous. Students, if we set the precedent, if we set the bar where students have to be censored, then we get in this territory where certain ideas can be stomped out. When one side controls the terms and controls the language, the other side is completely stomped out. So then it raises the question, who creates the standard? Who creates the words that are acceptable? So what we really need is to allow all speech. We need to let these journalists grow and learn for themselves.
Okay, Hannah Scherlacher, thanks for keeping us informed about what is happening on campus and colleges and high schools around the country. Campus reform. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.